Welcome to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast, your guide in the race to financial freedom through real estate investing and sound financial practices. This podcast is for anyone interested in learning more about real estate investing, personal finances, and a new take on traditional retirement. Now, here are your hosts, Larry Fierro and Mike Moe.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast, your Monday morning motivation edition, where we get you keyed up for this episode upcoming, and we follow up on our call to action from the previous episode. In the last episode, Mr. Fierro was talking about connecting with real estate agents and making sure you have the most effective relationship with your agent.
Absolutely. You got to have that guy on your team or that girl on your team that's going to be out there trying to help make you rich.
Yeah.
You have to find the one that's going to be that you get along with, that likes you, that is going to go out there and is motivated to find that one special deal that's going to really make your entire bottom line sing.
Exactly. Yeah, but we don't want to be transactional focused. We want to be relationship focused, right? So we're talking about finding somebody that is not just sending you everything and anything and just setting up a search for you. You want somebody who's in your corner, who knows your goals, who knows what you're trying to do, and is really looking for that angle and doing work for you, right? Like, these people are getting paid. So you want to make sure that they are doing work for you. But at the same time, you want to make sure that this is a two-way street and that you're not being that annoying client that they don't want to work with. You understand that they get paid when they close a property, right? So if you give them strict criteria and they preview this deal that matches every ounce of your criteria that you kind of mustered up, you got to close on that property, right? So we talked about making sure that you have a relationship that meets both ends, right? And if you haven't reached out to an agent yet, you need to do so, right? So you want to talk, just like we talked with Mr. Swarzak on the loan officer. We want to talk to our team members early and often so we can have an opportunity to kind of vet them and make sure that they understand our vision, right?
They want to make sure that they're not talking to just a tire kicker, because if they're going to go through all the you ask them to do and they're following through, then you have to follow through yourself. Just make sure that all your criteria is met and you're good to go.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why it's really important to know what you're looking for and have that kind of that crystal clear vision. And if you find a good agent, they might help shape that. And that's why I say you start to talk with agents early, start to make sure that you're connecting with people early, because your agent should know the market like the back of their hand. So you might have your end vision as far as what you want your investment strategy to be, and they might help shape what type of properties, what type of areas to look at, because they know that and that's their expertise, right? And that's when you know you got a good agent. If you just have an agent that sends you every dang thing on the market just because they want to close a property and send you no matter what, you might not have somebody who's got your best interest in mind. You want this to be a relationship that you can continue to work through and continue to close properties through, not just the one and done.
Yeah, and if you guys have not reached out to me yet, what I want you to do is hit pause right now, go to Google, type in real estate agents in my area, and the first three numbers that pop up, just give them a call. See who you can find. Just talk to them, tell them what you're looking for, and start the conversation. You got to get out there and get it on.
Exactly. Yep. And if you do that, get to your local meetups. Your real estate meetups are a great opportunity to meet a lot of agents who specialize in rental real estate, right? You have a lot of people who have first-time home buyers, which is a very emotional decision. Rental real estate typically is not. Investment real estate is usually not an emotional decision, or should not be. It's very by the numbers. So it's a different it's a different transaction. It's a different relationship when you're working with investors versus first-time home buyers. So it's always really good to get an agent who knows investors. So go to your meetup, reach out to your local meetups. Like you said, go to Google and just throw in real estate agent in your area and just get those reps in and talking to those agents and telling them what your criteria is. And then find one who kind of meets your needs and meets your niche, right?
Yeah, start that conversation. I promise as you do more and more calls like that, you're going to get better and better at it, and the relationships will start to build, and you'll be off and running.
Exactly. Yep. So that's the call to action. The other selfish call to action that we did is get on iTunes, get on Stitcher. If you guys like what you're hearing, let us know. We love the feedback. We want to make sure that you're getting value from what we're providing. If you're not, let us know too. We want to make sure that we can kind of focus this content on what you guys want. So hit us up on the Real Estate Marathon Podcast on the Instagram, on Facebook, and then of course leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud, wherever you're listening to this. That really helps us know whether or not we're hitting the mark and providing you guys with content that you want to hear. So the other side I want to touch on this, since we're talking about Monday morning motivation, man, we're starting the week off right, is really just this concept that we've been talking about recently of continuous improvement, of adapt or die, right? If you're not growing, you're dying, right? So I think you really need to make sure that you are structured in your ability to look back at what you're doing and make sure that you're assessing your progress to your goals. You don't have to make big jumps. We're not trying to do this overnight, but literally if you were 1% better every day, at the end of the year, you're 365% better, right? So, but if you're not taking that time to assess where you're going and figuring out whether or not what you're doing is really making a difference and taking that inventory of your day, of your week, of your month, and making sure you're making progress, then how do you know? You're just kind of going blind. You need to have a map and you need to have an assessment of what you've done to make sure you know if you're effective.
Yeah, you need that practice. You've got to try and get it into what you and I had called off before we got on the recording, was muscle memory. You have to have brain memory. You have to get the practice in there so it's becomes second nature to you to do these things. Yeah. And when that happens, it's something that you can do without even really thinking about.
Yeah, and figure out what works for you. I mean, one of the most popular ways of doing it is journaling, or just taking a second at the end of the day to really assess whether or not what you did today is that truly making steps towards your goals. And if it's not, well, you need to do better tomorrow. Every day is a new day, right? You can kind of wipe the slate clean and start new. But if you don't take a true inventory of what you've done and assess what you've done for the day or the week or the month, then you can't really make an improvement going forward, right? And there's tons of studies, there's tons of people who tell this journaling or this taking assessment of what you've done, the Hal Elrods of the world, the Ryan Holidays of the world. If you haven't read Ryan Holiday's Stillness is the Key, it's a fantastic book, and it's got a lot about this, right? About just taking inventory of your day, of your week, and making sure that you are kind of assessing what you're doing, right? There's actually a 2013 study that showed writing for 15 to 20 minutes a day, 3 to 5 times a week over the course of a 4-month period was literally enough to lower your blood pressure and improve your liver function. So literally you're taking an assessment of what you're doing, you're taking a mental check on what you're doing, and it is having a physical impact on your body and your ability to kind of move forward and improve yourself.
So not only the advice that we give, it doesn't just help your bottom line, help your financial education. It could potential health a little bit from what I'm hearing. So that's a good thing,
Heck yeah, man. Financial independence helps your health. Am I wrong here? I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, decreased stress level right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're watching on the camera, but you can see my forehead right here. No wrinkles because my brow is not furrowed. I've got financial independence, so life is good.
Yes, yes, man. That's what I'm talking about. De-stressing a little bit, focusing on what actually matters. That's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to achieve financial independence for. I mean, you hit that milestone. That's what I'm trying to achieve financial independence for. But yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, one of the things I heard was the 2 steps for success. Step 1, don't sweat the small stuff. And step 2, everything's small stuff. So, and that becomes more apparent in financial independence, I got to tell you.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with the first step of that. I don't necessarily agree with the second step. Yeah, you ever read the Subtle Art of Not Giving an F?
Yes, yeah, I have.
It's a solid book, man. And really, if you guys haven't read that, the premise of it is you only have so much to give. You only have so many F's per se to give. You should really make sure that you focus that on the things that actually matter, not the little things, not the minutiae, not the minor details that in a grand scheme of things don't really matter. Focus on the things that matter, right? 80-20 rule this.
Absolutely. And that's one of the best pieces of advice I've heard. Just go for the financial independence and pay attention to the big stuff.
Yep, exactly. So other than that, man, what else we got for them?
Well, we got a preview for this week's podcast, and this coming week is why networking is important. We're going to talk a little bit about just back on the last episode, or I was in Orlando for the last episode for the Multifamily Mastery, and got back from it and we decided to discuss networking because it was such a great opportunity to go down there and network with real estate professionals. So stand by for Thursday's episode where why is networking important?
Heck yeah. Yes. And absolutely is so important in any business, not just real estate. Real estate's a team sport. And I think you can say that a lot about a lot of businesses. But if you are one of those folks who don't like networking, don't tune out to the next episode. You are the people who should actually listen to the next episode, because I was just like you a handful of years ago. I hated those meetups. I hated those networking events. I hated those awkward conversations with people that you don't know. But really, if you can kind of get past that, you can get out of yourself. Those are the relationships that add a ton of value to not just you, but other people as well. So listen to that next episode on networking and how we talk about Larry's Multifamily Mastery 3 event, which was apparently amazing. I'm a little upset that I missed it, but I heard tons of good things about it. So yeah, good call. That's going to be a good one, man.
On Thursday. And I just wanted to let everybody know that if they go to the Multifamily Investor Nation Summit and using Marathon as their code word, they can get some money off on their tickets if they decide to go to the summit and hear you and I speaking at the summit about the stuff that they've come to love and enjoy us talking about weekly.
Yeah, heck yeah. So real quick, 30 seconds on the Multifamily Nation Investor Summit. It's a digital event, so you don't got to fly anywhere, but it's a ton of really, really experienced people in the real estate game, in the podcasting game. There's a ton of people who got podcasts on a bunch of different topics. They're talking about that specifically. And yeah, like you said, you can use the code word Marathon to get $100 off your all access passes. And Larry, when is that? January 19th?
18th and 19th.
19th. Yes. I should probably put that on my calendar. January 18th and 19th.
Oh, I'm sorry. 16th through the 18th. I just looked at the thing. I've got the 19th on because that's my birthday.
We're going to have to go back and correct the record, man. It's January 16th through the 18th. Use the code word Marathon. And what's the website again?
It's multifamilyinvestornationsummit.com.
Perfect. Cool. Use the code word Marathon and get hooked up with $100 off. So other than that, man, that's all I got. Anything else you got?
No, that'll do it.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of the Real Estate Marathon Podcast, your Monday morning motivation edition. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast. If you found value in any of the content from this show, consider supporting us in the following ways. Subscribe to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast. Leave a rating and review. Continue the conversation with like-minded individuals on social media by heading over to the Real Estate Marathon Podcast Facebook group, or follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Real Estate Marathon Podcast.